Top left-hand side. Our blue Zerg. Can he make an upset from Kaizi Gaming? This is Misaki. In the bottom right-hand side, our red Terran player, it is Maru. Away we go. Game 1 of this series between Maru and Misaki. Misaki will open hatchery first. Here on Winter's Gate, bit of a funky map to get this started. I think the biggest thing for Maru here is just not allowing Misaki to get away with anything too aggressive, too crazy. Get vision around your base. Make sure Nidus doesn't come up in your main without you seeing it. Probably open with some kind of like Banshee play. Maybe Battlecruiser as well is also very good defensively early. Those are the sort of things that will keep Maru very safe no matter what Misaki does here. Misaki from Kaizi Gaming. If he drops down, again it goes to that last life on both teams. Let's see what happens. Get out of here. We want Kaizi versus Pixel 1, the rematch, says Etsuyo Yuyo. Pixel 1 have their work cut out for them, whoever they face. Jin Air or Kaizi. I mean, I know they all killed Kaizi. Don't see that happening again, but could be interesting. As we set this up, we get this going. Our first trooper is on the map now and is starting to come across. We'll replace that SCV on the other side in terms of looking to see what's going on. 6 more Lings, Ling speed on the way up. Getting that ready to go. The first few Zerglings coming down here now, and just going to see those Lings continuing forwards on the low ground. Reaper is going to go after a few of the Zerglings here, and obviously that dance begins. Nothing too crazy just yet, though. Nothing too crazy just yet. Factory in the main base. Like I said, Misaki didn't go overly crazy against Fantasy the other day, which is what has me worried for him here against Maru. He had really fun, stupid builds in those EVPs, like one-base Niduses that worked and very narrowly worked sometimes. I just wonder what he does in the ZVT to try and grab those victories. Starport from Maru on the way up. Tech Lab built next to it from the barracks. See if it will indeed just be that Banshee opener again. Keeps you so very safe as Misaki drops double Evo Chamber. So Misaki is just looking for super fast upgrades. So double Evo Chamber here. He's going to go super quick upgrades. There is still some aggressive possibilities off of double Evo Chamber as a Zerg. You could go for like a big 1-1 Lingbane timing attack. I mean, obviously 1-1 Roach attack as well, but without allowing a Roach roaring down, you're not going to have Roach speed in time to make use of a missile upgrade timing, so melee upgrades it will be. And yeah, like maybe like a big 1-1 Lingbane timing could be a possibility. I mean, there's obviously super early Evo Chambers, definitely away from what you'd expect, so and again, playing weird in a bit of a different way to how you might usually imagine this. As Maru just goes into a siege tank, by the way, a Viking as well. Well, it's actually even safer than a Banshee in a way, actually, because the Viking will just push back Overlords for vision. The tank is going to be very safe on the ground. And it actually, playing the Viking tank, it takes away any sort of aggression from the Terran player. You know, Banshees are good defensively and can then go across the map and be very good aggressively. Tank Viking, not the same case at all. Like, yeah, you can fly around and pick off Overlords, but you're not going to get a big push going and multiple worker kills. With the tank, maybe you can get like a ground push going, but there's the Balin nest. Zerglin has been made from Misaki. 31 workers. He's going to go. He's going to go 1-1. Ling Bane all in. You know what? I don't even mind it. It's crazy enough to have a possibility to work, but again, the issue is it's just what Maru's decided to do. By Maru deciding to play super safe is naturally going to have something of a counter to this. Scans into the natural. Sees an Evo Chamber Baneless. It looks very standard for Misaki from that scan. What he needs to see is the fact there's no third hatchery mining. You know, there's no workers over there. The Viking here does see a few Zerglings. That's some good vision from Maru. Just knowing there's a few lingers over there. Banelines, some of them already up to this top side. An extra 1 or 2 being brought into play. Maru does have the 4 Hellions from early in the game still alive here as well. And they will have a big role to play in cleaning up these Zerglings also. And here we go. Supply depot drops down. Another tank comes forward. This Orbital Command going to lift off, move over to the side. Here we go. 1 more upgrades are done. Misaki has to go sooner rather than later. He's waited for Maru to move out towards the 3rd base. I mean, it's absolutely the time to go for this if he's going to go for it. Maru's moving out to the 3rd base. Units are moving over there. Maru resets the wall off. Oh, the tank's going to come out from that wall as well. You can see Maru is so afraid. He is so afraid to send anything forwards at all. Scans the 3rd base, which now has drones on it, but no gases is a good sign. No gases on that natural. This is a 1 gas all in from Misaki. Misaki is still just building units. Okay, Maru's going to see this now. The Hellions on the right-hand side are going to reveal the Lings and Banes, and here we go. Lings are going to start running forwards. The tank fire onto the Balins. The target fire is real good. Not a single Balin connects, and all of that build up for Maru to just completely in the bottom right-hand side. Still looking for that win to knock Jinair out of the tournament. This is Misaki, the Blue Zerg. And the top left-hand side, our red Terran player is Maru. Game number 2. If Kaizi lose Misaki, it's their revival. Probably INnoVation to take on Maru. Drones mining away. Spawning pool in the back after a gas. So gas pool hatch. No hatchery first. Immediately Misaki has more aggressive opportunities here already. So we'll potentially be able to go into something very aggressive very early on. Misaki will expand, of course. Typically these gas pool hatch builds come with an expansion. You use that to fall back. You know, if you do game and damage, Terrans have a trend to stay in the game just because of mules anyways. And if that happens, you want to make sure you're in a position where you're able to just stay alive, basically. You know, basically just able to kind of, you know, if the Terran just stays alive, you want to be able to pull back and just go, okay, I'm just going to drop myself down into a couple of extra drones. I've got 2 bases. We can play from there. SCV chased. Down to the bottom right-hand side. Is going to get picked off. The scout is not good to see the Rotron. So isn't going to be able to pick up that information just yet. So do you have the few Zerglings up through the center. The Rotron about halfway done. Lair completing soon. Hatchery about to finish as well. I mean, that lair's really quick. Like, really, really quick. This is like a Misaki special. The fastest possible Nidus network you've ever seen. A few Zerglings here. Gonna get past. Marine gets back in that bunker, and Overlord moving in towards the main. Oh, Marine's actually on top of that Overlord already. You can't lose this Overlord, guys. Like, if this Overlord goes down, there's no Nidus network. That is extremely problematic. Overlord will get into the main base for the moment. Still currently alive. 2 more Marines being made. Didn't build Hellions, so should have more units against a Roach base attack. Nidus network is seconds away from completing. He morphs an Overseer to try and save it. It gets killed. Nidus will come at the front instead. I mean, that's just a reveal of its own. Building the Overseer. It's like, hey, I have a lair. Oh, what an attempt from Misaki, but Maru just shuts the Overlord down. And as the Nidus pops out the front, well, these Roaches might be able to get this bunker. A couple SCVs coming in to start repairing it. Fresh Mule will be targeted down here, and Marines, well, gets one of them moving forwards. Now Nidus tries to come up into the main base. Tank and Siege is going to go in towards this. I mean, Maru is playing safe again, and those Niduses are going to be denied, and Misaki is already in trouble. Man, Misaki just... I mean, Maru is just playing so safe again. Marine tank opener to deal with a Nidus. I mean, there's just no way Misaki breaks him. When Maru decides to play this safe, and Misaki knows he has to, like, basically be all in, there's just no way you kill him. I mean, that's the trouble with being a player, with being a weaker player in this scenario. And, like, it doesn't matter how much crazy stuff you throw at the guy. If he's just gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna play super safe, I'm not gonna mess this up, there's just no way you break him. I mean, what do you do here? Bunker, tank, second tank. First of battles on tank number 1. SCVs will repair. Actually, only got 2 battles off, so tank survives. And Maru is going to keep Jinair Greenwings in this first of 2 series here today. Greens and tanks pressing forwards. A couple of roaches getting picked off. GG. I don't know. This is already kind of the revival from... But that's the... Yeah, it's the revival from Inno, but it's not the revival of Maru. Maru's just out the first time. But I think it might count as the revival still. As here we go. INnoVation! In the bottom left-hand side. Our blue Terran player. Up against our red Terran. In the top right. Maru. A TVT for the ages. This could be wild. The last time I casted Maru and INnoVation, I absolutely lost my shit. It was crazy. It was wild. I was back in IEM Shanghai 2017. They played this game on Proxima Station, I want to say. It was actually ridiculous. Just literally the best game I've ever casted. Maru's going to proxy T-Rex. And here we go. The aggression from the start here. Getting ready to go. As we do see SCV from INnoVation heading out up the top side now. INnoVation has not gone for second gas already. Slight build order advantage to Maru. Doesn't mean that this is unwinnable for INnoVation. As you do see the SCV going to scout. So Maru proxy T-Rexing. You see INnoVation. He will see the lack of racks before he builds the CC. And that's the point of this SCV scout time. You see no CC, you pull up to your main, you build a second gas, you build bunkers. Because at this point, you pretty much know it's going to be a 2-Rax Reaper. Double bunker goes down. Second Rax should be soon to... second gas, sorry, should be soon to follow after this factory. So INnoVation responding correctly so far. His first Reaper might have pop. It'll be one-on-one Reapers. You'll see the SCV already taking a shot here, actually. Maru gets the better trade on the Reapers, but he does lose his SCV now. INnoVation comes in, moves back. He's going to get extra shots off as Maru has to go to the low ground, bunker up. And Maru, well, he's going to be slowed down initially here. Now Marines are coming out, and they have to be careful as to where they go. Want to make sure they're in the right places. If Marines have to leave the bunkers when the Reapers are already in the base, there is going to be trouble. INnoVation will probably proxy the starport there with that SCV. The proxy starport against this attack is very powerful because there's typically not a lot to really be done against a proxy starport. As you see, don't feel like we need to look at the proxy starport right now. Let's look at this fight. Reapers taking some damage. One Reaper down for Maru. Good defense so far by Inno. 4 workers lost is not the end of the world. It's playable. And that Marine pops out and is going to get the Reaper kill. That's really nice as well. There's the Hellion. That's another dead Reaper. Maru is losing a lot here, and INnoVation has a really good opening defense. The starport across the map forces this to be a Cyclone for Maru, otherwise defensively he doesn't have enough. The Cyclone will not be out before the Liberator, so the Liberator will deny some significant mining time here, and INnoVation will slow Maru down as Maru starts to expand, but INnoVation will be mining more for a little bit, and he will not be too far off his own expansion in the near future as well. This barracks comes into the main base for a scout. INnoVation with a great hold here. Did everything you needed to do against this Proxy Rax Reaper. After scouting it, just a perfect response. You can't really complain much about that as our Cyclone about halfway done. The Liberator popping in about 6 or 7 seconds. As we do see this barracks floating around up in the skies. Command center dropping down on the natural. There's that Liberator showing up again. Just Cyclone about to arrive, but it does take a Cyclone a little while to get rid of the Liberator. It actually takes a long time for it to lock on here. So Cyclone pops out, and that Liberator will go down, but some good mining time lost. So Maru does have his income delayed a little bit. And INnoVation continues to build up his own command center. Tech Lab on INnoVation's starport. I would imagine that's not going to be for Ravens. I imagine he's probably going to go in towards Cloak Banshees here as SCVs get pulled in towards those Reapers. SCVs continue to go down. Cyclone continuing over as well. 4 SCVs, 5 SCVs lost already. And that is going to be 6 workers down. Wow, those Reapers backstabbing. That's really amazing damage from Maru, who goes up 6 workers. So exactly what he killed it is a Raven from INnoVation. Well, he's just going to have to build his Ravens and send them back home. But now Maru is actually going to come across and find that starport. So it's a Cyclone as well. So actually anything that pops out of this is in some trouble. There's double Cyclone. Maru is going to bring the second one in as well. Do you save that Raven? Can you drop an auto turret? Is it worth completing? 200 gas you could have back in your pocket versus a Raven that's in a lot of trouble here. What does INnoVation do? You can fly it up and right to get out of the lock-on range. Does it finish even? The starport is so low. Raven pops! Locked onto out of range. Wow, starport dies in the last second there. Oh, INnoVation is up here, and he's going to get some worker kills, as obviously the units from Maru are out down harassing that starport. So 3 workers go down. The Cyclone picked off here. He's going to get another SCV. No, he missed targets. And that's a pause. That's a horrible time to pause. This will hopefully get resumed in a moment or two. I mean, that Hellion is going to go down. I mean, it's not the worst time to pause, actually. It's not like the Hellion could be saved. I think that was actually the admin that paused here. We don't know just yet, guys. Either way, it doesn't matter too much. The Hellion had already mistargeted the SCV. And, the Hellion was already locked onto, so that's really not too much of an issue. It would have been a worse pause a couple moments from, a couple moments before. It's horrible in the moment, but when you think about it, it was the better moment compared to a few seconds earlier. Okay. As we get ready to resume. Looks like our players are typing go or so. Looks like we are resuming. Just going to get into the game again in a second, guys. We're just a few seconds slow to get back in at times. There we go. Away we are. Marines tank out on the map. A couple of SCVs dropping from Maru. I'm not sure if that's just the Raven harassing. If it was, and that's the end of it. The Cyclones lock on. That's a dead Raven. So Raven goes down. INnoVation is now only 4 workers behind. Doesn't really have enough army to realistically go across the map and make something happen. Making another Raven at home. And I don't think Maru did anything other than just build 1 Raven here. So feels like it should be just 1 Raven at the moment. Tank siege job. Cyclone's coming along into the center. Ooh. Tank shots are real good. First Cyclone goes down. Stimpack about halfway done from Maru. Those engineering bay is going to finish up in a moment or so. A couple of extra barracks going to be done as well. And there is a 3rd CC dropping down from INnoVation out in the front. So again, a 3rd command center up and running. SCVs just on the way out. Those racks still dropping down, and Stimpack is going to be coming in on the tech lab. Raven out into the center. TVT stabilizes a bit, but with Maru up and worked, has moving a 3rd CC out into location already. Maru does seem to have the slight edge. those 6 extra SCVs he found really changed the pacing of this TVT just that little bit. Scan into the main base. Looks to see what else is going on. Second refinery dropping down. Marines, tanks, Raven and a Cyclone moving out into the center here. Remember, guys, we have a whole other series coming up after this. The winner of this plays Pixel 1 in the Grand Finals. Marines and tanks into the middle of the map. 1-1 upgrades on either side. Combat shield setting up too. Maru now setting up an attack there. Maru doesn't have a huge army advantage or anything. INnoVation going to try and take that forward third base to maybe make up for a bit. And Maru actually took the triangular 3 bases. I mean, if you take a third base that isn't the forward one, you usually go down the side of the map, but Maru changing it up. Maru is going to push forwards as INnoVation has to siege up here. Again, has a Raven of his own. Interference matrices will drop to nullify tank fire. Marines, for whatever reason, from INnoVation were wandering forwards, though. This game started well for INnoVation. Good defense, but again, those 6 worker kills, that's all it takes to change this game up a little bit. And from there, Maru has just started to control it. And now, well, he's going to stim into this fight. He's going to go for this. And INnoVation has to pull SCVs to survive. And that's never a good sign, as he is going to start pushing through a couple of the tanks, but the rest of the tanks are still firing and doing a great job of it. Raven still up overhead. Will come and lift up, pull back a little bit. +1 attack on the way from Inno. I mean, Maru had 1-1 for that fight as well, so the little bit of Marine on Marine we did see was actually quite impactful in favor of Maru as well, so those upgrades definitely would come into play. Doing some damage onto that orbital there. Tanks and sieging, and just seeing Maru up 30 supply now. This game feels like it fell apart so quickly for INnoVation. Medevac's jumping in towards the main base. Maru is going to unload, and INnoVation is so out of position. I mean, Maru has a scan to see this army going across the map so he can prepare his defenses at home. INnoVation's going to commit, but you're behind, you're late on the base trade. It's never going to go well for you. Hey, the siege tank's actually killing off a lot of the SCVs, the Marines there. So actually, Maru loses a lot more in that attack than I think he was bargaining to lose right away. But I mean, he has killed 17 SCVs. INnoVation has a tank count to push with. Raven as well. Drops an interference matrix as here we go. The fight breaks out. INnoVation has no real choice other than to try and make this happen, but he's not really committing into it. He is going to lose a siege tank as well. Maru currently holding on. INnoVation is up in army supply though, so this is basically it. This is INnoVation's last chance. There's a couple medevacs just in the middle of nowhere here. INnoVation with the one push to try and end this game will load up a medevac, go around the top side. Maru is going to have his third base in some trouble there. SCVs will be picked away by those Marines. You can see that Maru starts to pull work units over to defend against that. And here we go, INnoVation makes the play forwards, but the tanks will barely go down. I mean, one tank survives even, and the tanks of INnoVation are being pushed through. Maru just has too much at home. Now has a few Marines on the other side, picking off even more SCVs of INnoVation. This drop from Inno did a lot. I mean, 19 workers killed, but he's still 30 workers behind. That's how much damage he took previously. Inno will try and switch up to the third base instead, but will not really find it. You can see all the ways he's trying and testing Maru's defense, but Maru stands strong. And he's going to put Jin'e 1 map away from winning this entire match and going to the Grand Finals. Starting way back in the bottom spot of the bottom seed of the playoffs. Jin'e are looking for their 3rd consecutive win as INnoVation runs a tank into these Marines. Maru. Bad start, didn't halt him. He found a way back into the game, and that's what you've got to do in these TVTs. You've got to try, you've got to look, do everything you can. INnoVation does not. The blue Terran player. Wow! INnoVation, we go wild on the observing on the introduction. Red Terran player. Maru in the top left from Jin'e. Alright, so barracks dropping down each side. Both players' barracks in their main bases. No Proxy Rax Reaper to start this off. No Proxy Rax Reaper, and away we go to see what will be next. Maybe getting into more of a macro-focused TVT. Both players will send an SCV across the map. They want to make sure they're not being Proxy Rax Reaper, of course. They need to pick up that information for themselves still. So that early SCV scout coming over. Have a look to see what perhaps is going on. Reaper on the way on both sides. Both players an early expansion. Mirrored build orders for the first minute 45. We'll see if either of them go for more than just the one Reaper and into Reaper Hellion, or if we're going to see reactors straight away. The fact they've both scouted means they both know it's an expansion, which means they should both just drop down a reactor here. They know it's kind of, in a way, a bit of a gentleman's agreement just to say, okay, one Reaper, reactor. There's just no reason to build a second Reaper. The second Reaper is really looking to abuse the fact. It's either looking to abuse a mistake from your opponent, or it's looking to say, oh, I'm not confident, sort of, keeping my Reaper alive, which at this level of play, those are just not really viable options. So, reactor on the way from both sides. Maru with the China Team Championship semifinals in his hands here. When this map, and he's got this going. Maru will be under pressure. He actually gets the first shot onto the SCV. That's painful. His Reaper's on lower HP here. And he will be delayed the expansion for a little bit, so INnoVation is going to keep Kaizi going for a moment. INnoVation is going to keep Kaizi alive here. As you do see this Reaper from Maru back down. A little bit back and forth. He's going to take the first shot again. So INnoVation can go back and maybe get another SCV. So SCV is going to pull away. Grenade is good. Good blocking with the grenade as well. It doesn't block, but it zones the Reaper from coming and chasing down there, because if it gets bopped, it's going to be in some trouble. Reaper of INnoVation up into the main. And is just going to commit this one to kind of figuring out what's going on. Gets the SCV low from earlier. Well, it's actually worthwhile, isn't it? It really is. INnoVation has a very good opener once again here. He's going to go for Hellions. Sorry. Maru is going to go for Hellions in the medevac. So Hellions and medevac coming up. We see the Raven on the way down from INnoVation. So INnoVation just setting up straight into that next stage of TVT, while Maru will look for some damage. He's looking to drive by, jump into the main, try and get something done. Raven, tank, Raven, Cyclone. Couple extra Marines still on the way up. Reaper gonna chase that Marine. Marine will go down. And there is that medevac coming over the right side, looking to pick up a couple Hellions. See what perhaps they can do. Cyclone presses in, locks on, Reaper will fall. Now these Hellions unloading in this main base. You're going to see Marines coming forwards here, trying to get some damage done. Cyclone locked onto a medevac. Medevac goes down. The Hellions getting a lot of Marine damage, but that's about it. 4 SCVs going down. Good defense by INnoVation. Comes out, equal on workers, ahead on army. 3rd CCs. A little bit slow from INnoVation, but nothing too major. As Maru gets a Raven up, INnoVation will have a faster stim pack as well, so should be a little bit faster onto his bio play as a follow-up here. Maru. Down 10 supply. He's hurting. He's hurting quite a bit. You'll see a barracks drops down to the left. Marine up through the middle of the map here. Stimpack on the way out. What a battle this has turned out to be. Remember, Kaizi played Jin Air and beat Jin Air in the regular season week 5 to put Jin Air down in 3rd place rather than 1st place in the group. And there's a big, important match that changed a lot of what we saw this weekend in terms of which teams were seated and where. Super. 2 trap in that series. We haven't seen Super here yet today. Whether he's the player that gets brought out for the ace, it's possible. I feel like Super's quite good in the best of 1 scenario. But Bunny was playing amazingly earlier as well. Orbital building up an SCV in the main. We're going to see a couple of racks are repositioning. Stimpack will start from Maru finally, but it's so late. His engineering bays are up. INnoVation hasn't gone upgrades yet. This double drop is looking for some real damage. Up to the top side of the map, INnoVation. It's going to unload here, finds a Marine of Maru, which is watching for something like this happening. So INnoVation might have to think twice about going into this here. There's double Raven in the natural. If they get, you know, interference matrices off onto the medevacs, then all of a sudden, the next thing you know, those medevacs are going to be unable to drop, and then you just don't do anything with those medevacs at all. Grand finals are today, straight after this series. 2 Vikings, 2 Ravens. On the top side of the map, Maru coming down. This army of INnoVation along the left, ready to move into the main base. Little tanks and Marines setting up, and there is the one Marine unloading. Man, we are really in a little bit of a tense game. INnoVation does not find any openings on Maru's bases. He will get the faster third base mining because of the fact that he's got the map control. It's dangerous for Maru to try and move out. Inno actually has the push potential into the main, the drop potential into the main. See the Vikings and the Ravens setting up here. That doesn't matter if these medevacs are able to unload before the Raven's able to come into play. And there it is. The drop is going to come into this. The Raven will move forwards. What can he do? Just going to mass order turret. I kind of like it. He snipes down a Raven of Maru right away as well. So INnoVation, a good start. Stims in. First tank dead. Second tank targeted. Second tank will go down. SCVs will not save the day here. And INnoVation will keep tanks alive in the back of this mineral line. Now sends 2 more medevacs up. They'll probably look to hit the third base. There goes the Raven, cancels on those siege tanks here as Marines and SCVs push in. Somehow Maru defends, losing minimal units. That's impressive. I just, in no world did I see Maru losing so little here. 4 SCVs and basically just trades out in army. Resources lost is slightly favoring INnoVation, but considering that drop and the position it was in, what a defense by Maru. Absolutely keeps him in the game if INnoVation does still lead by 10 supply. Medevacs from Inno find a golden moment to move into that natural. This army moved out just a little bit. Inno still just looking. I mean, 2 medevacs do escape away down the left side, and they get back home now to perhaps get repaired, take up another couple sets of units and across the map. The Ravens survived from INnoVation as well. That's also a great save, keeping that up and running. Obviously, the longer you have a Raven in play, the more abilities you cast with it. Those 2 drops still on the top. Remember, INnoVation very heavily, consistently moving out with just these medevacs and with units inside. It's what cost them the game on this map against Fantasy in the seeding matches. That was really painful. 3 full medevacs shut down. It switched the momentum of the game massively. It stopped INnoVation having a straight-up kill move. Really slowed everything down as scans on the third, sees what's there. He's going to unload here. He loved this position against Fantasy as well, where he can just slowly pick away at the refinery, some of the mineral line clusters. Vikings will force the medevacs back. 1 medevac killed off, but denying the refinery. Again, INnoVation is controlling the pacing of this game. As a drop into the natural expansion, INnoVation was just waiting to pull Maru out of position, and Maru has to pull away now. And here we go. Now Maru's going to go and defend the main base. INnoVation try and dive in there. That tank from INnoVation not sieging up in this natural. He will finally siege. It just took a little while. INnoVation started his +2 attack sooner, but no +2 armor started from him as these SCVs running in. Marines get themselves right into the corner here. That siege tank getting a lot of kills. 10 workers down. INnoVation is still only 2 SCVs ahead. Currently being chased away by the Vikings. That larger drop will have to pull away and hold off. Obviously, Maru knows how INnoVation is trying to play this, so Maru can respond accordingly. Another command center in the center of the map. And these medevacs from INnoVation looking to go up the left-hand side. Dropping towards this main base. Here we go. Units are going to begin to unload. Tanks sieging up. An auto turret or 2 dropping down. I mean, he gets into this main base despite Maru knowing about it, and that's the issue here. As Maru's SCVs are going to get blown up by tanks now as they try to repair the orbital, keep it alive. Marines running into this, and the tanks finally showing up from Maru as well. Liberating the skies helps to get rid of the tanks. It's a full cleanup on the army of INnoVation, but Maru lost 20 workers while doing it, and that's expensive. He lost a lot of his own army as well, obviously a lot of Marines going down and more. Two tanks out the front. +2 attack finishes, +2 armor. Oh, that's the mistake Inno made. He's queued up +2 armor on the same engineering base. Instead of selecting both engi base, he selected one, built +2 attack and armor. Now he gets +3 and +2 at the same time, so he will fall behind an upgrade there. Slight mistake from INnoVation. That's costly. Maru holding back because he can't do anything but hold back. Down on army supply, I mean, dropping when INnoVation has so much map control is so risky, and you can see INnoVation here with the Vikings trying to take an advantage, and, well, now has a tank in range of this mineral line as well, so the 4th base of Maru in some trouble. I believe the Ravens are down on both sides of the map now. Lots of Vikings here from Maru will push forwards, though, and the Liberator will force the tanks to unsiege and back away. No tanks will be lost in the making of this defense. Fusion Core and a starport or 2 extra from INnoVation might be looking to switch into battlecruisers, but that was when Fantasy was able to get back into the game the other day here on the Disco Bloodbath. 2 more starports coming up from Maru, playing from behind, but TVT is absolutely the matchup which allows you to play from behind and back into the game. Marines and tanks on both sides are seeing where they can go. INnoVation can push that top side with a lot of units. There's a lot of tanks left there, though, from Maru, so in fairness, it's not like it's just undefended. Again, that tank defense makes it so hard to be the aggressor here. The Marines and tanks on both sides are just still holding out, and again, Maru will be able to defend. Now, INnoVation takes this as an opportunity to keep expanding. Maru is building Ravens. That's exactly what Fantasy did the other day against INnoVation as well, and that's what brought him back in the game. Though he did have a medevac picked off 3 full medevacs to start it off. INnoVation hasn't showed us what he's doing yet. He looks as though the Fusion Core is just for more Vikings. A Liberator range upgrade as well. INnoVation's Marines are clumped there. INnoVation loses 30 supply, just drops out the sky. Wow, INnoVation loses a lot. He unsieges his tanks. He's going to get pushed into. Maru claims another siege tank here, and INnoVation has taken some heavy losses. It's TVT for you. Suddenly Maru is the one maxed out. INnoVation down 30 supply. Again, just continued defense, and now Maru can shut down the advantage INnoVation built, which was that command center just the right side of the map. Pressing forwards here, tanks begin to siege. The fire from INnoVation coming in. Tank goes down on either side. The Vikings still looking good here. Interference Matrix is going to hit those tanks. He's going to move forwards here. His own tank's now sieging. Oh, and INnoVation's Marines are kind of clumped up. Maru is winning out the air battle as well. INnoVation sneaks a Raven and Matrix onto a tank on the left-hand side there, but INnoVation doesn't have that much left, and Kaizi Gaming kind of looked like they should have had an ace match here, but no. In Maru, it looks as though he'll pick up the 2-0 to shut this down, take this down. My God. What a turnaround by Maru. Just defend, defend, defend. You find that one good fight, and that's all you need to turn it around completely. INnoVation and Kaizi Gaming will not win a series this weekend in the playoffs. I mean, at least... I mean, INnoVation didn't even get a map win, right? No, sorry, he got one map win against Rogue. That's all he got. Maru is just that good. And even when behind, he cannot count this guy out. Marines in some trouble there as the tanks are firing. And Maru wins this game, wins this series. We go into our grand finals, Jin versus Pixel 1. That is our current situation. As our Marines will stim in to take INnoVation and Kaizi perhaps out of the China Team Championship Season 2 in 3rd place. Interference Matrix is shutting down those tanks as Maru just boosts his way forwards. He's got so many Ravens here. He can bully his way into any position he needs to. Here we go from INnoVation. The Marines simming out. The anti-armor missile goes down to hit those Marines as well. INnoVation has to type GG.